Today we're going to see direct object and indirect object. Direct object and indirect object is, and we say, what is that? It's like, for you, it doesn't mean anything, right? But actually, it's important, is the pronouns. And what is a pronoun? Even in English, do you know what is a pronoun? Well, I didn't know either. So a pronoun, the name actually pronoun, is because it replaces a noun with another pronoun. And why is it important? Because when you, for example, when you're speaking in English, for example, that you know this language, and I say, I gave it to you. Let's say I'm talking to my students and I gave them homework, and I'm gonna say, I gave you the homework. I will say just, I gave it to you. The to you and it, they are pronouns, okay? And in Spanish, this is what I'm going to teach you. There's even a shorter way of saying it. And it's important just not to be repetitive. You know, in the language, we just have to be more efficient, and this is a way to do it, okay? So in here, I'm going to show you, first of all, in order to understand this, we have to try to understand what are the type of pronouns that we have. So we have the pronouns like replaces a name, like this one, I, you, to, she, he, they, which is the ones what it replaces a name, because instead of saying Mara all the time or referring to myself as Mara, I will say I, right? And instead of saying, I don't know, if I'm talking to Maria, if it says Maria, I'm gonna say to, right? Or you in English. Well, that's the first kind of pronoun. You see that it makes it more efficient. And this type of pronoun that replaces a noun is a pronoun that replaces a name. And generally those are in the subject of the sentence, meaning who does the action in the sentence, like I cooked it, for example. So I, you see, is the subject, is the one that does the action, okay? So that's important to know. You'll see why in a second. And then here, these are the prepositional pronouns. Why? Because they come with a preposition, like for me, for you, for him, for her, for us, para nosotros, para mí, a ti. So all of these ones, and what do? Is like they are so they are called prepositional pronouns, and it's to me, to you. So remember, I say I gave the homework to you. So that to you is a prepositional pronoun. And yes, and it's important because even in Spanish we have even a very shorter way of saying to you. And also because when you're going to see that the only way that you can make things shorter is like just the object of whatever you're doing. For example, I gave the homework to you. So what did I give you? The what is the direct object. Es el objeto. Or complemento directo, like they call it sometimes, complemento directo. And to whom did I give to you? To you. That would be the indirect object, or complemento indirecto, which is this one that I show you. And that's like to whom, and you can make those shorter. So you can either make shorter what about the verb and to whom about the verb. But then where, when about the verb, you cannot make those shorter. So I gave it to you in the class. In the class, like in English, I cannot make in the class shorter, right? So that's kind of the same like in Spanish. Don't worry, because this material, I will give it to you like in the link below. You have this to study. So the other thing, so this is how we do this then, how we make a sentence shorter. So for example, you always have to ask these questions to yourself. Which is the verb, which is the most important in the sentence? Who does it? What about that verb? And for whom or to whom is being done? It's being done the action. So, good job. So, now, the direct object, el objeto directo, is, for example, Martín cocina un pollo para Lucía. Martín is he, right? Cooks a chicken for Lucía. So, what is he cooking? You have to ask yourself, un pollo. So, un pollo would be the direct object, o complemento directo. Or Juan compra flores para su esposa. So what does he buy, or did he buy? So he buys flowers. So flowers will be the direct object. And then I will ask you, Lorena So, abre la puerta para su amiga. She opens the door for, so Lorena abre la puerta para su amiga. She opens the door for her friend. Okay, so, and then to whom would be to whom you're doing an action. And actually, if you don't have a to whom, if you don't have any person that you do something to someone, then there's no indirect object. And if the answer of what is not being answered, for example, what she buys, and it doesn't say the sentence, then there's no direct object. So don't worry, we're gonna do an exercise together. Now I'm gonna show you in one example. So let's go, like I always do, to our notes. We're gonna do like objeto directo indirecto notes. This one is one. So let's say Mara or María cocina un pollo para Juan. Okay? So first of all, you have to always, my students get tempted not to do this, but you have to always put first the verb. Who's the verb? Then who does the action? Then what about the action? And then to whom? Okay, to whom is doing, and let's say, just for sake, para Juan en mi casa, whatever. Cocina un pollo para Juan en mi casa, in my house. So this will be answering to where, which we don't care, because you cannot replace that. Okay, so then which is the verb, guys? If you listen to me, you can do it in your heads. Okay, cocina, very good. Cooks, who cooks? María. Okay, very good. How you can make shorter María? Ella, right? And that's el sujeto or subject of the sentence. What does she cook? Un pollo, correct. Un pollo. To whom? Para Juan, correct. And where? En mi casa. Now, we had to make this shorter, make shorter. That's kind of the whole point of the exercise, right? So ella can be shorter here, and this is the order. You always have to follow the order when you replace it. Sujeto, then it goes the indirect object, then the direct object, and then the verb, and then the rest, if you have. So, for example, in this case, so the way that you look at it, I will, as I said, I will give it to you this information below. But so, for example, and look at this table of conversion. So this is the order I just talked to you. Subject. If there's a negation, if there's a no, then you put it first. Indirect object first, direct object second, and verb. And the modifiers is the rest. So let's look at a table of conversion. This is a table of conversion, and this is how you read it. So let's do first pollo. So pollo, guys. Pollo is a thing, yes or no? Yes, it's like eat, right? But you remember we have feminine and masculine in Spanish. So it's a feminine or a masculine thing? Masculine. Okay, so you have to go direct object, remember? So what always answers to the direct object. Remember that. And to whom? Indirect object. And if it helps, you can put it in here. What? An indirect object to whom. Okay? So, what? Let's go to the direct object column. Okay, direct object column. This is how you read it. And then it's a thing. So it says here, a singular object, because it's just one, would be la or lo if masculine. Would be lo. So that's the replacement you have to do here. Lo. Para Juan, to whom? Para Juan, for him, right? So let's look in the column of indirect object. Will be para Juan, a él, will be le. Muy bien. So a él will be le. You see, para él o a ella, for him. Let's go to le. And then you cannot replace anything else that is not these two guys. So what is the subject of the sentence? Ella. Now let's make it in the shorter way. To whom, in the shorter way, le. What, la. And verb, cocina. There's a problem here. You never can have le, la, two L's together, because it sounds like it's hard to just pronounce it. So no le la, no le las, no les las. I can send you these notes if you want to. I can add it. Les las, no les lo. Okay, no le lo. Okay, in this case you have le lo. Sorry, le lo. You replace it for the direct object is lo, right? No la. So be le lo. So in this, nothing of these cases can happen. Okay, so I'm gonna cross it out, strike through. So I take it out. But the way that we solve this is we're gonna replace only indirect object. For the le is gonna be replaced for the se, okay? So se, it doesn't matter if it's plural or singular, it always goes se. And in this case it will be se lo, right? Se lo. So you replace se, only the indirect object, then you keep the direct object, and this is how you say, ella se lo cocina, which would mean she cooks it for him, okay? She cooks it for him. That's how you make it shorter. Not always you're gonna have this case. You're gonna have some cases that is for me. So let's do another case that you don't need to put the se in there. So for example, let's do María cocina un pollo para mí. Okay, and let's put carne instead of pollo. That is feminine, okay? Carne. Okay, let's say. So we do the same thing. Don't jump steps until you got it for sure. So which is the verb? This is cocina. Okay, very good. Cocina. Do this in your head. Who cooks? Still María. So still ella when you make it shorter. What does she cook in this case? Carne. Okay, so carne is feminine. Es la carne. To whom? Para mí. Where? In the kitchen. But we cannot make this shorter. So, en mi casa, in my house. But we cannot make this shorter, so nothing. So, let's see now the table of conversion. You always have to look at the table of conversion. So, check the table of conversion for now. I swear, if you make this thousands of times, you're gonna remember, okay? Well, not thousand, but 100 maybe times. So, let's see. So, direct object, right? In this case, will be feminine, eat. Is a thing, right? Carne, okay. Eat, a singular object, la in this case, because it's feminine. To whom? It says para mí, so it's indirect object, remember? So para mí, go to the color of indirect object, para mí, and it's for me es me, okay? So replace it for me. And then always remember to follow the order, okay? So el sujeto would be ella, okay? To whom? Para mí, how you replace, muy bien, you replace it with me. What? So la. And this cocina, you see, ella me la cocina. She cooks it for me. So me la doesn't have la, so you don't have to put the se la together, okay? So, like I was saying, like at the beginning, unfortunately, there's like the only way, at least as an adult, that you learn this, unless you travel there or you do like kind of an immersion. The different people, like if you want to put that uncomfortable, be that uncomfortable, you can do it. But this is kind of a softer way of doing it. Once you do it many times, I swear I have students that they just read the sentence and they can just flip it, like, and they can make it shorter. And then when at least when other person like says it, then they can understand what they're talking about, because this is a lot done. Okay, maybe I can do one more example and then you can just do it at home. It's very important that you use the table of conversion, this one. Okay, so let's do one more maybe. Let's do a case in you don't have direct object, for example, or you don't have indirect object. For example, ella canta una canción. She sings a song. So, the same thing, which is the verb canta, okay? In this case, it's already shortened, so who, ella. So when you shorten it, it's already shortened. Then what? Una canción, a song. To whom? It doesn't say, so you don't put anything. So let's see. shorter for canción. So it's direct object. So you go to the column, direct object. No, this one is direct object. Okay. Feminine singular object, la. Okay, so you put la. Okay. And then where, it doesn't say either and it doesn't really matter. So now let's replace it. So sujeto will be ella, to whom we don't have, what, la canción, and canta. You see, ella la canta, she sings it. Can you see? So, and another example that my students tell me like a lot is like, that ask me a lot, sorry, is this one. For example, ella ayuda a mi mamá. Okay, so verb, which is the verb, ayuda, right? Who, ella, what, he helps. So this is the part when it gets sometimes confusing. So, okay, so in Latin America, we take the what is helping, what, and the answer we give is what is helping the person. So what are you helping? I am helping. So we take the person as an object, which in Spain is technically correct to ask to whom. Okay, to whom is helping. So which will be ella, a ella, la, so it will be le. But in Latin America, we ask ourselves about what. What are we helping? In this case, is a mi mamá. What are we helping? A mi mamá. So that's why a direct object in Latin America could be also a person. So when you go to the table of conversion here and you put direct object and you say a ella, so ella, you see, it will be feminine, so it will be la. Okay? So, and then when you replace it, and then there's not indirect object and not the rest. So when you replace it, will be sujeto will be ella, not indirect object, la ayuda. You see, ella la ayuda. In Spain, this is how they take it. So I'm gonna say Latam, Latin America, and let's do Spain. And so in Spain, they take it like this. So this is all the same. Who helps ella? A mi mamá. But they say in Spain, they say, no, there's no direct object. And they say to whom is helping. So it depends which Spanish you're learning, right? To whom, a mi mamá. So they take it as a person, to whom. And then they go to the column of indirect object. A ella will be le, okay? And then when they replace it, so this will be Latam. But when we replace it in here, in Spain, the Spaniard way, is instead of, there's no direct object and it's le. So ella le ayuda. And so it's just, I guess there's no right or wrong way. It's like, I guess, British English and American English, like who speaks better, you know? It's like no right or wrong, but it's just a way that we speak. It's like la instead of we say le, okay? So I hope this is helpful. Of course, if you have doubts and you're my students, you're more than welcome to ask me. And if it's a short question, I maybe can answer in the description. So remember to subscribe, and I will be sending you also the material. Thank you. Hope to see you soon.